This story has been specially created for you by NightWhispers. We proudly present. I went solo camping last summer, something I've done a dozen times before. I chose a remote spot deep in the Appalachian Mountains, far from any roads or trails. Just peace, quiet, and the sound of nature. That's all I wanted. The first night was calm. Cold air, crackling fire, and nothing but the rustle of trees. Around 1:30 a.m., I heard what I assumed were deer moving nearby. Nothing unusual. But then, I heard footsteps. Not animal-like, human, slow, cautious, circling my tent. I turned off my lantern and held my breath. My hand was already gripping the knife I always kept beside my sleeping bag. The steps stopped, right in front of my tent door. I didn't move. I didn't even blink. I waited, maybe a full minute, before I heard a whisper, barely audible. "You picked the wrong place?" I froze. My throat tightened. I wanted to scream, but nothing came out. Then a silence. No footsteps walking away, no rustling. Just nothing. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed still, listening. And when the sun finally rose, I crawled out to check. What I saw made my stomach turn. There were bare footprints in the dirt all around my tent. Not one or two. Dozens. Some big, some child-sized. No shoe prints, no animal tracks, just bare human feet, circling me over and over. And the strangest part? They started and ended around my tent, no trail leading to or from the forest. I packed up within 5 minutes and hiked out without eating, barely breathing. A week later, I looked up that area online, curious if anyone had ever experienced something similar. Turns out, locals believe that part of the woods is haunted, said to be home to an old cult that vanished in the 1960s. People still report whispers and shadows, but no one has ever found solid evidence, except maybe the prints I saw that morning. Back in 2022, I had to travel for a last-minute work meeting in a small town in Oregon. All the hotels were fully booked due to some local festival, so I settled for an Airbnb. The listing looked normal, cozy, cheap, and close to the office. The host, a woman named Janice, had great reviews and responded quickly. When I arrived, she greeted me in person. She was polite, maybe a little too cheerful. Her only words of caution before leaving were, "If you hear anything at night, like footsteps or voices, don't worry. This old house just likes to talk." I laughed awkwardly, assuming she meant the creaky pipes or something. The first night was quiet. Cold, but nothing strange. But around 2:40 a.m., I woke up to the sound of footsteps above me. Now here's the thing. The house was one floor. There was no upstairs. The sound wasn't random creaks. It was paced walking, as if someone was circling directly above me. I sat up, heart racing. Then it stopped. The next morning, I messaged Janice. "Hey, weird question. Is there a basement or attic? I heard something walking around last night." She left me on red for over 6 hours. When she finally replied, all she said was, "It's probably just the house settling. Nothing to worry about." That night, it got worse. At exactly 3 a.m., I woke up again. Not from footsteps, but because someone had placed a hot cup of tea on my nightstand. Still steaming. I hadn't made tea. I hadn't left my room. And the door was locked from the inside. That was the moment I decided to pack my things and get out. But when I opened the front door to leave, I saw it. An old man, standing completely still on the sidewalk. No expression, no movement, just watching the house. I got into my car and left without looking back. Later that night, I opened the Airbnb app to report what happened. But the listing was gone. Deleted. When I searched Janice's profile, it said, "This user no longer exists." And the creepiest part? The next morning, I received an anonymous message. No name, no contact info. Just 6 words. "You should have stayed one more night." This happened just a few months ago, and I still don't have a rational explanation for it. I share a 2-bedroom apartment with a friend from college. We're both 27, working different schedules, so sometimes we go days without seeing each other in person. One night, I came home from a late shift around 11:30 p.m. My roommate had texted me earlier saying he'd be out of town for the weekend visiting his parents, so I knew the apartment was all mine. I made some quick food, watched TV, and went to bed around 1:45 a.m. At exactly 3:11 a.m., I woke up to a buzz, a motion alert from our hallway security camera. We have a small indoor cam aimed at the entrance, mostly for packages or if something weird happens when we're away. I opened the app half asleep and nearly dropped my phone. There was a man standing in our hallway, tall, bald, wearing what looked like a black coat, not modern, more like something from the 1950s. He stood perfectly still, arms at his sides, not facing the door, not moving, just staring at the wall. I stared at the screen, confused, frozen. Who the hell was this? Had someone broken in? Was it a glitch? I got up as quietly as I could and grabbed the kitchen knife, my phone still showing the man standing in that same exact position. I opened my bedroom door slowly and peeked down the hallway. Nothing. The hallway was empty. The camera was still on, still recording, but no sign of anyone. When I looked back at the app, the footage was gone. That specific motion alert, deleted. Not archived, not retrievable. Every other clip from that night, still there. But the man, gone. In the morning, my roommate called to check in. I told him what I saw, thinking maybe it was some neighbor or prank. But when I described the man, his voice went silent. He said, That sounds like my dad." I paused. "What?" "Yeah, my dad. He died when I was 14. That coat, he used to wear one just like that. And the way you said he was standing, that's exactly how he'd wait for me in the hallway when I was late coming home." He was dead serious. No joke, no laugh, just silence. Later that day, I checked the app again, and it had auto-updated all footage from that week. Gone. I replaced the hallway cam the next day, but I haven't seen him since. Still, every night at 3:11 a.m., I wake up on my own, like someone wants me to. About a year ago, my sister asked me to house sit for her while she and her husband went on a short vacation. They had a newborn, and my only job was to watch the baby monitor and feed the dog. The first night was quiet. The baby slept peacefully. But at around 2 a.m., I started hearing something strange through the monitor. Not crying, not static. A voice. It was faint at first, almost like a lullaby being sung in a low, broken whisper. I turned up the volume. It was a woman's voice, singing something I couldn't recognize. The words weren't English. The baby was still asleep, completely still in the crib. I rushed into the room, heart pounding. No one there. I checked the closet, under the crib, the window. Nothing. I even turned off the monitor, thinking maybe it was picking up interference. The next night, it happened again. This time it wasn't singing. It was talking. A whisper. Director. Clear. "He's not your baby." I nearly threw the monitor across the room. I stormed into the nursery again, still empty. But this time, the baby was facing the wall, sitting up, eyes open, just staring. He stayed like that for almost a full minute before slowly lying back down. When my sister got home, I didn't tell her what happened. I didn't want to scare her, but a few weeks later she called me, crying. She said she heard the same whisper while rocking the baby to sleep. She asked me if I knew what it meant. I told her the truth. I didn't. But I'll never forget that voice. "He's not your baby,"